but it's closed. Alright, we're heading into the game. Let me know if the scene switcher didn't work, because I had a couple of problems with that lately, although I'm going to look on my phone as well, because I've got the stream running there to see if it actually happens. On the right side of the map, we have Vodka in yellow, as Huns, of course, since this is going to be pure Hun Wars, and only on the standard Arabia map that comes with Age of Empires 2. And on the left, in purple, we have Stark. I quite like the fact that we've got some different colours, but we're not going to have to enable team colours for you to be able to see. So we've got purple v yellow. Red v blue gets boring after a while, I always think. Both players starting quite close to each other, really. There's not much travel distance between the two players if you look at this. You know, like the second goal of Vodka is almost a third of the way to Stark's base, and it's very open between the two players, so it's almost the case that in describing one player's map you'll be describing the other player's map too, because they're almost what we sort of term a player's map. The area surrounding their base is basically joined together here. For Vodka, it's looking, well, it's kind of positives and negatives here, because this back gold is really awesome, almost at the edge of the map, defending by forest on both sides. But this wood line is going to run out kind of probably late feudal, early castle age, something like that. And after that, Vodka's wood lines are looking pretty far away and pretty exposed. So that could potentially come into play for him. His extra gold, I think this is his second one here, is absolutely miles away. And this one is extremely exposed towards the front. Both players are talking about whether there are actually restarts in this tournament. I think Stark was questioning that Vodka, do you want to use one? So obviously he's maybe thinking that Vodka doesn't like this map already, which is why probably not gonna go too crazy in looking at Stark's map until we see whether a restart comes in, which will be in about 20 or 30 seconds. Mongo, do I want a co-caster? I might give that one a miss, since it seems like you're joking. Okay, we are past 4 minutes now, which I assume is the restart mark. I'm just going to have a tiny check of that whilst not a huge amount is going on. Yeah, 4 minutes, so we are going to see this map played. Vodka's going for it despite the scarcity of wood on his area of the map. Stark, equally struggling for wood. He's not going to be able to get very many lumberjacks around there before it becomes incredibly inefficient and villagers start getting trapped. This wood line's pretty terrible, all of the wood on the far side, and like he could come out to use this one, but it's quite far away. So I think both players have got ridiculously open maps, and we're probably likely to see a game that's characterised by raiding and aggression right from the early stages in feudal war, heavy feudal war potentially, because it's just going to be so difficult to close off the maps and have a kind of safe economy to go up to the next stage without having sufficient army to protect yourself. Seems that both players opting for 3 on wood, so I imagine we will see the classical scout rush play from which you typically see from Huns when they start off with 3 on wood, probably transitioning into archers and maybe even like a full feudal, something like that. But yeah, I imagine players going up 21-22 population and choosing scouts as their first play here. Stark is talking smack to Vodka, saying, "What a low score you've got, are you alright?" And Vodka says, "No, I lost 4 vills." But we can see that Vodka's exploration is just lacking at the moment. At 7 minutes he has no idea where Stark is in the slightest, and it's going to be quite a lot longer until he actually finds him. He headed off straight across the middle of the map, and he looks like he may do a kind of circuitous route all the way around before he finds him. Should be able to do that by the time he's looking to send his scouts out though. Obviously Stark has uncovered a lot more of the map. Again, he's only just finding Vodka. May lose the scout to the TC. Just about survived there. The last hour is missing the scout. Well, that will have been something for the difference in the scores, as well as the fact that now we can see that Vodka went up to 2 villages earlier than Stark has. In fact, due to the fact that potentially due to the fact that Vodka's map is so ridiculously open, it looks like Stark is electing to go with a forward 23 population up forward with 5 villagers. Not going over to stone, so we're not likely to see us kind of like heavy on the towers or anything like that. But he's going to go for a barracks, but he's dropped it so close to Vodka's own barracks that this forward is going to be detected extremely early on. And Vodka just says hi. Stark says hi back. I get the sense that like, these players are they're playing it in very good spirit and having fun with each other. Stark's scout going down as well, which means that his forward is going to be less effective because he won't have the scout in the first engagements. It's a powerful unit, of course, in the start of Feudal Age, as long as it's not coming into contact with enemy spears. And Stark looking kind of like he's lost all momentum and ability to actually make this forward work, because Vodka's just going to come out and rush those villagers down. And Stark, kind of the timing was off for him. He's only just reached the Feudal Age, despite Vodka having found out about his forward 60 seconds or 90 seconds ago. And Stark did say in the chat that's a problem, and it's very much proving to be. Almost losing a villager there, and I imagine some others of these will be going down as well, potentially, depending on how effectively they're chased down by Vodka's scout. This is looking like some kind of procession across the map. That villager going down for Stark as well, so he's lost 1 villager and 1 scout at this point. Vodka's scout going down as well, though. The only unit that has been produced from Stark's forward at this point has been, well, initially that spearman and then this one, but that one did manage to pick off the scouts, so at least the players are even in no longer really having any scouting information for each other. And Stark, after the failure of that forward, realises he's in a bit of trouble and he's going to have to change his plan. So he's gone for a stable and he's going to transition into scouts, but it's not going to be like a strong scout rush of sorts. It's more of a case that he's making some scouts to just get some army on the field, and really like the fact that he's going over to stone to defend, and that he clearly wants to use at least 1 tower and potentially several more to defend his map. He's not going to be doing a large number of scouts too soon, in the sense that his economy just isn't set up for it. He doesn't have the farms there at the moment to do that. Vodka, using the fact that all of his villagers were over here in the middle of the map, and thought he'd just take a deer whilst he was there, which is quite nice. Walling up the barracks so that there's not going to be any more pesky spearmen coming out of that barracks. And it kind of remains to be seen if Vodka's going to continue with this skirmisher production from his range ages. I feel like he was probably planning to go for scouts until Stark kind of forced his hand, and now he's just transitioning into some trash to repel that forward and then go over and start to be a nuisance while Stark is kind of behind. But right now, Stark's economy is kind of set up in a way that will see him falling sort of further behind, if you like, because he's got 4 villagers building a couple of towers, and he's got 3 villagers on stone, so that all of that is villagers that aren't collecting food or wood or gold, which are what you need obviously for getting together a feudal army or going up to the next stage. So I think throughout the last few minutes, despite what the scores say, Vodka has been sort of accelerating ahead of Stark. You won't really be able to do too much damage though. Lots of towers coming up for Stark to defend this forward gold, which is also placed at the bottom of a hill, and some nice walls here to stop this trash really being able to threaten the back of Stark's base. I'm going to guess that eventually we may see another tower on this side just to protect this area from all sides, but that may not be the case. Let's have a look at what Stark's scouts are doing. Oh, stealing a couple of Vodka's sheep, it seems. 3 scouts for Stark, but they're going to move into a wood line that's protected by 2 spearmen already and be forced to retreat. Stark turning back before he takes any hits, which is good. Not too much happening at the moment, both players getting wheelbarrow. It's going to kick in for Vodka slightly earlier, so again his economy just getting slightly ahead, and as I predicted, Stark's just going to finish off the tower defence of his base by putting one over to the left of his wood line. And I'd say that he's nicely protected now, but the fact is that because he's been mining stone for so long and building towers and stuff, he is behind. As I said, Vodka will have been kind of collecting more relevant resources for longer, if you like. Potentially could be losing some of these feudal trash units to the tower if he hangs around in that area for too long, but he's just going to continue scouting around. Couldn't decide whether to say skirting around or scouting around then. But the only way remaining into Stark's base is through this back area, and Stark has walled it up just in time. He can kind of just go through here though, without taking too much fire from the tower, and that may, well, it could have potentially been a problem, but this lumber camp is no longer in use, given that it's just so inefficient to be gathering from there. Some of these farms may end up being idled, though. Predictably, Vodka on his way to the Castle Age first after having a much more efficient and as I said, kind of relevant economy throughout the middle of the feudal age when he wasn't on stone and such. But Stark isn't going to be... Oh, hang on. Do we have a pause or a drop here? It's a pause. Okay. Let's have a look at the chat. This dude from NZ... Every single time I see him pop up the chat, he says that when's Viper playing. Seems to be his standard kind of joke. But we are running again, which is nice. I'm glad there's just a quick pause and there's no other problems. What's Vodka going to do with his early Castle Age? He's going into 3 rangers and archer production initially. Got him fletching and gold mining on the way to the Castle Age, which is going to set him up nicely for building a powerful crossbow army quite quickly out of those 3 rangers. These scouts for Stark really haven't achieved anything as far as I can see. Just going to slow the game down because it seems to be running too fast. Is that a low? There, he managed to find a low hit point villager on what farm though and take that down, which is really good. Don't think he even took a hit from the town centre. And I wonder if there are any more low HP villagers around here that he's got his eye on. One more spear though means that Stark needs to be very careful if he's going to lose those scouts.
Yes.
Stark saying it's 1-1 on the vill count now, after he managed to pick one off. So, both players poised to reach the Castle Age. That's going to happen for Vodka now. Stark in about a minute's time, I think, or well, potentially less than that. But Vodka already has 20 military on the field, whereas Stark has 3 scouts, which are, well, one of them is almost dead, and you know he's probably not going to be going any further down that sort of part of the tech tree. He's probably going to be going into multiple archery range production himself. Well, let's see if he decides to go for crossbowman initially, or potentially cavalry archer right off the bat. some crossbows for Vodka, trying to threaten Stark's gold from uphill, but with 2 towers there, he's not going to have too much joy with that kind of thing. Vodka managing to pick up a villager here, because it's kind of difficult for Stark to re-wall this without taking further hits from the army that Vodka has there. Obviously, you can use quite a big building to re-wall from further back, but still, that range is perfectly within the range of the crossbows. And Vodka's just keeping a couple of groups of crossbows just prowling around, trying to see if he can get into Stark's base from different angles. I reckon he'll probably be getting in here, so Stark needs to have the military ready to go and deal with that, but cavalry archers certainly going to be able to rush over there and counteract that as long as he gets sufficient numbers. No bloodlines yet though, which means that the cavalry archers will be potentially still quite susceptible to this. There's some skirmishers and crossbows mixed in there. In those numbers anyway. That university works quite nicely for Stark though, because what it does is it means that the army that's in the back of his base still has to walk past the TC to take some hits in order to do damage. Stark now onto bloodlines with his cavalry archers, so they're starting to look like quite a powerful army. Ballistics coming in as well for him, as it is for Vodka. And Vodka managing to secure a second woodline with this TC. We talked about at the start of the game how woodlines on Vodka's map were looking quite precarious for him, because once that small one at the start of Feudal Age started to run out, then he wouldn't have too much wood left to take from anywhere near his base, and he's actually up to 3 TCs with another one on the gold. Stark does manage to clear up all this army in the back of his base though, which means that he's kind of equalised the army count, but now that he has cavalry archers with +2 and bloodlines and +1 armour, I'd say his army is a little bit more powerful than Vodka's at the moment. Vodka's still lacking bloodlines as well, which is really important. And Thumbring coming in for Stark, which is going to make those cavalry archers fire so much faster. I don't remember noticing if Vodka did that. Could have probably paid attention to that engagement and how fast the cavalry archers were firing to see, but didn't think to look. Vodka is trying to pull away quite nicely on the economy front though. On 52 villagers compared to Stark's 44, and Stark still doesn't show any signs of getting onto a second TC, so you would say that he needs to kind of make his military count if he's going to stay on 1 TC too much longer, but he doesn't have the army advantage either now. Both players having roughly equal numbers of cavalry archers, and really the only difference between them is in the technology upgrades, the additional upgrades that Stark's cavalry archers actually have. That was a nice little engagement for Stark there. He managed to trade, I think, pick up 3 cavalry archers from Vodka and a villager in exchange for just 2 cavalry archers of his own. So he's taken a slight lead in military, and he's going to pick up more villagers here. This has actually been over chopped, and now potentially he could see half a dozen villagers go down if Stark kind of attacks correctly, but he's sort of charged straight in there and revealed his cavalry archers and standing under the TC, taking casualties unnecessarily. I think if he'd just gone and stand ground here, he could have killed 5 or 6 cavalry archers quite easily, but over here the larger groups of armies, and I think Stark has taken a terrible fight whilst he was trying to micro his smaller group of cavalry archers in the north. This really hasn't worked out well for him, and that will mean that Vodka's taken once again a kind of commanding lead in terms of army numbers. We saw that right at the start of Castle Age, and although it kind of briefly swung in Stark's favour, he's now got the ability to raid in multiple places due to the numbers advantage that he has. At least Stark is now on multiple town centres, which is going to be important because it was looking like he might be left behind in villager count. Has to have two in the same place, which is fine because like this area is quite important for him in terms of resources. He can't really TC much else, and just securing more wood and gold is really nice for him. Vodka even doing a 4th town centre to secure this forward gold and coming out with 3 rams from the siege workshop he's got. At the moment, no siege workshop for Stark, so he's not going to be able to counter those rams too easily. Well, if at all. And really this is looking quite threatening for Stark right now, because these rams are going to be able to kind of devastate quite a lot of the production facilities, and whilst they're there, it's sort of difficult for him to take a fight against Vodka, because the rams will of course be tanking fire. Stark really needs to micro this and make sure that all of those shots count on the cavalry archers, but his micro's good. He's picking off cavalry archers one by one, and a fight that could have turned out really badly for him if he hadn't devoted a lot of micro attention to it has actually gone in his favour. He picked up many more kills there, and again I don't know if maybe that could have been down to Thumbring. I need to kind of look. Yeah, Vodka's only just doing Thumbring, so that will have been why Stark was able to kind of rapidly one-shot all of Vodka's cavalry archers. And really what was looking like a very precarious situation for him, with all these rams coming in on his archery ranges when he didn't have anything but archer units to defend, actually ended up being quite a nice engagement for him, and he's taken the army lead for now. Vodka doesn't have much on the field to threaten him anymore. However, Vodka leading by 13 villages still, so, and onto a 4th town centre, and taking control of more gold that could have potentially been very difficult to gather. So I still feel like Vodka is in the driving seat as long as he kind of keeps up his army production still. Of course, those siege workshops coming off for Stark on this hill will be able to threaten this whole area, so Vodka just needs to be careful not to lose the kind of positional advantage on the front of his map. To start off with, he had been applying all the pressure, attacking down these hills and such, but it could be kind of happening in reverse now if Stark starts to apply pressure from him down this hill. It looked for a moment as though Vodka's cavalry archers might actually move in and pick up those villages and stop them siege workshops from going up at the last, but that's not the case. Those siege workshops are up, and I wonder what Stark is doing out of them, if anything. Nothing for now. He's going to concentrate on raiding around on the right hand side, and he doesn't really have gold in the bank to start massing siege weapons too much at the moment. Getting +2 archer armour, Vodka doesn't have that yet, so taking some shots downhill at Vodka's archers with better armour as well, it's really nice for him, and he's picked up 3 kills in no time then, also going to pick up some more villagers potentially, but he doesn't want to get caught out and shot at downhill by Vodka's own cavalry archers. That's turning out to be another bad little move from Vodka there, taking more casualties. He did have the greater numbers, but they were kind of separated into 2 groups and not able to get onto the hill. I think if he'd been on the hill level before he lost some of those units and then taken the fight with a good patrol, it could have gone well for him. But right now, it looks like a fight between fairly even numbers of cavalry archers. The difference, of course, is +2 armour for Stark. It's kind of hard to see if either player is taking more casualties at the moment. But other things happening on the map as well. Castle for Vodka, as well as mangonels to try and deal with all these siege workshops. And Stark's going to kind of change the avenue of attack with his kind of forward production facilities. It looks like he did have the better of this fight though, simply down to the numbers advantage that he had. I said that when the armies were kind of here and there, Vodka did have more numbers, and even though he lost a few kind of unnecessarily, he did still have the numbers to take that fight despite having like one less armor. Stark's gonna kind of... I need to slow the speed down. Stark's gonna kind of give up on pushing down this hill and just move around here, since the presence of that castle means he's not going to be able to apply any more pressure there for now. Elite skirmisher coming for Vodka then. They're going to be kind of using that superior economy that he's had for the most of the game to sort of supplement his army with a few different things, and he might be thinking about just saving some gold as well. He still doesn't have access to another gold, completely mined out this one, so the only one he's got at the moment is this. Does just about see that gold there, but it's going to be difficult to secure that one. And Stark's still looking in an okay position because he's kind of caught up with the villager numbers. He's pushing downhill with some rams here, and his opponent is mining very little gold for now, only about 8 villagers on gold. And Stark has also, like throughout the course of this match, he's probably taken better fights overall, except for this one over here. It's going to be hard for him to apply too much pressure to Vodka though, whilst he has elite skirmishers and mangonels pushing away his rams and cavalry archers. Let's see what players are up to at the moment. Castle coming up for Stark. This is within... These two castles are going to be within trebuchet range of each other, and Vodka's downhill from Stark, so we could see a race to the Imperial Age to get us to kind of start a treb war there, or alternatively one player just may make a move on each other's castles with a large number of rams. Another town centre coming up in the far right corner of the map for Vodka, just to secure some more woodline. Another kind of engagement here where both players seem to have just left their units almost to fight. It's difficult to see who lost the most cavalry archers here, but ultimately if that is a fight to the death, then Stark will lose all the CA there just because of the elite skirmisher factor. Although, actually no, they're downhill and they're taking off shots. There is just a little bit of a hill bonus there, and the skirmishers weren't fighting too effectively, so probably just 3 or so cavalry archers from Stark might survive there. 4 or 5 in the end. I mean, many of them are close to death, but that's still an effective raiding force. Stark even expanding into this area of the map is get hold of some more farmland and another wood line, taking control of this gold, which I believe, would that have been the 3rd one of his map? I think it would have been. So that's his 3rd gold that he's getting onto, which is good for him. Both players only just now going to probably start taking control of their 3rd gold. I feel like Stark took a little fight there that probably was a bit unnecessary, fighting cavalry archer against skirmisher for downhill as well for no reason really. He's kind of continuing to do that, but especially with 2 mangonels here, that he just needs to retreat. He is on the way to Imperial Age first, so every number that he has, every military unit that he has ready to upgrade when he reaches Imperial Age is important, and he just doesn't want to take unnecessary fights like that at the moment. How far away is Vodka? Like, Vodka's almost there too. He's about to click up any moment. Although it is taking slightly longer because, not many villagers on gold for Vodka up to now. For the past sort of 5-10 minutes or so. So even though he was only 80 gold away, it took him a little while to get there. That last 80 gold. So there's going to be roughly 1 minute's difference in Imperial Age times. As long as Vodka doesn't kind of take a fight while he's out teched, that shouldn't be too decisive in terms of the game. Castle over here from Vodka, which is quite nice because it's going to just sort of deny raiding all throughout this area where there's a large wood line, and he's finally gotten onto his 3rd gold, and this extra gold is here too, as well as the relic. Chain barding armor kicking in for Stark as well, so he's probably going to be thinking about mixing in some Hussar raiding and Hussar meat shield into his cavalry archer army. Yeah, light cavalry is coming out already. And I guess Stark may know that he's up to Imperial Age first if he perhaps saw the scores drop, so he's just going to throw up a castle right in the face of... oh, he doesn't even know about Vodka's castle? Okay then. I thought he was going to just throw up this castle and then just start trebbing it down the moment he hit Imperial Age, but he doesn't even know about it. He will do once he tries to mine that gold though. So Imperial Age kicking in for Stark. Guessing we're going to see most kind of bracer chemistry, Parthian tactics, Hussar upgrade kicking in over the next few minutes. Perhaps even heavy cavalry archery if you can afford that as well, although usually players quite often go for Parthian tactics to begin with. Plate barding armor as well, so those Hussars are going to be Stark is going to have are going to be well armoured and equipped, very well suited for raiding sooner rather than later. Stark is just going to immediately begin trebbing down this castle, sending 2 rams as well, so this 3rd gold that Vodka's only just gained access to will be vulnerable soon. Stark even finding out about this attempt to secure another wood line. Sorry, that's actually Stark's own wood line, lumber camp. Got the colours confused for a moment. So even as Stark distracts Vodka on the right hand side, it looked as though these Hussars were going to go in for a raid, but instead they're just going to come in and try and deal with some of this skirmisher army and protect this Treb as it begins to take down the castle. But Vodka's got a Treb of his own, so it could come down to a kind of repairing war if players choose to do that. And indeed Vodka is going to repair that castle. Both players focusing on this area of the map for now. You can see that there's not really much conflict going on in other areas apart from kind of a few skirms and Hussars over here. But it feels like Stark's just got way more map control now. If we look at the minimap as this fight goes on, you can see that he's just expanding over more of the map into the south corner. And Vodka's very much got this sort of right corner and that's it. And kind of the only gold left on his map is over here. And it's heavily contested and not really mineable, especially if this castle goes down. Let's see what they're flaring here. Yep, Treb's out of this castle too for Stark. So he's going to be trebbing down castles and raiding, moving in with Hussars from multiple directions, and it's looking quite precarious for Vodka at the moment. It looks like all of his fortifications on both fronts in the west and in the south are about to go down potentially. And when that happens, he's just going to be so vulnerable. Yeah, and GG for Vodka. He knows he can't hold both of these, like he can't hold this game when this castle is about to collapse and this castle is about to collapse. So in the end, that game, despite Stark falling kind of behind early on because his forward failed and then he went on to stone and was kind of, his economy was suffering a little bit in the early game. He pulled it back, and with a slightly earlier Imperial Age time, he began to apply pressure on 2 different fronts with trebuchets. Upgrades like Hussar as well kicking in, and considering the fact that Vodka had made lots of elite skirmishers and something that meant that Vodka was struggling to kind of counter that at that point. Right, let's head back out because I'm sure these players just want to get on with it and not wait for me too long.